Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, Podcast Pete, and I'm with Jay Tubb. When you think of holistic living, you think Jay. So, Jay, 40 years is a long time in an industry of learning and growing and figuring out. I personally have always been interested in it, but I've never really gotten down to the deeper meaning of what holistic means. You have lived it for 40 years. So tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then we'll get into that journey.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and I turned 18 in 1975. So that was a few years after all the revolution of the 60s and the hippie culture, and very much back to the land ideas, and
Mhm.
natural foods popped up. And in fact, I have a copy of Life magazine from 1970, which
Mhm.
is about organic gardening.
Hmm.
And it was on the cover. And, and that's when Earth Day started. And so the idea of being more natural was was appealing to me,
Mhm.
especially as I discovered all the unnatural practices that were going into our food supply. So
Mhm.
that's a little concerning, and the naturally wanting to uh, have a safer food supply really required me educating myself. And
Mhm.
that started in a big way when I started volunteering at the local food co-op, which was very educational, and it got me a discount for the food I bought.
Mhm.
And of course, I'm getting in for education, and I learned a lot through that several year journey, and it was enough uh, experience for me to land a job at a brand new health food store that was opening up. Um,
Mhm.
and so I was on the ground floor and actually helped assemble shelving for the store. And uh, I got to learn a ton there. And originally, for the first year, I was the grocery manager and uh, body care and supplement manager.
Mhm.
So that was a lot. Um, I backed off to only being the body care and supplement buyer after the
Mhm.
first year. But in that year, it really placed a lot of knowledge in my head
Mhm.
about, especially what people are looking for. And then particularly in that department, body care and supplements, are in the same section of the store.
Mhm.
Uh, I started, answering people's questions. So they would come in and we would have a reference book, such as Prescription for Nutritional Healing, which we would refer to. And, the whole thing with being legal was, as a layperson, I can't prescribe or diagnose, but I can say, well, in this book, it recommends these things. Here, read this. And so it wasn't me, but if it agreed with what they already knew about what their problem was, then it was beneficial, and we would sell products to help people. I remember vividly, there was a jazz musician, Lonnie Liston Smith, who would come to the store, and he was legally blind. So he wasn't in total darkness, but he had like a little pinhole vision.
Mm-hmm.
And he said there was a herbal supplement with the herb eyebright in it. Eyebright helps bring more blood flow to the eyes. And he
Mm-hmm.
said when he did that, his little thing opened up so he could see more,
Mm-hmm.
still, I guess, legally blind, but, much more functional. So that was a real testimony to me to the power of the natural approach because there is, I guess there is nothing, maybe there is now, but there was nothing then in mainstream medicine that was effective for his condition. So
Mm-hmm.
from there, I worked for several years helping customers, learning, reading, and then went on to other jobs from there, eventually getting into outside sales,
Mm-hmm.
which had me relocate to New England. And that first job that had me leave Richmond was in selling homeopathic medicine,
Mm-hmm.
which I learned a great deal about, saw its efficacy and its downside because
Mm-hmm.
not one size fits all. So you got to be more specific with that kind of medicine about what your symptoms are that you're addressing, and hopefully nail it the first time. Because if you have people that you don't, then they kind of lose heart. Like I
Let
mean,
me let me ask you this, if I could,
there's
Jay.
no bad side.
Yeah, that journey. Let's just say the 40 years of being involved in natural foods, natural things. Do you feel that you're seeing that become more a priority for people's lives? Because what I just looked at just the other day was 10 fast food restaurants that have all these additives that are in the food, and it gave the six to avoid kind of thing, and it was eye opening to hear the ingredients, whether it was dyes, whether it was additives, whether it was things that the body
Preservatives.
doesn't really connect with. Do you see, like, now people being more aware of what they put in their body because information is more prevalent today than it was back 40 years ago? We don't have to read a book. We can get to chat gpd, we can figure out things quicker. Are you seeing that in
Right.
your journey? And if you could share with our viewers what that means to kind of see that validation of 40 years of on a journey. Now people are just more aware.
Yeah, not across the board, but you've always got certain people who are uh, taking the reins in their own hands. And I think that's a really powerful place to do with your own health, rather than
Mm-hmm.
taking the word of somebody, who doctors I think are well-meaning, but they're uh, the amount of advertising targeted towards them by pharmaceutical companies largely ensures that that's the kind of medicine they use. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the biggest trend in natural foods right now is better for you versions of things. So I have a line of cereal that is uh, imitations of mainstream brands like Cheerios and Chex and Rice Krispies, but they're better, organic. Um, uh, Low sugar has become a big trend because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you've been paying attention over my 40-year journey, it was first the culprit for your being overweight was you're eating too much fat, and then it's too many carbs, and now it's gotten down to, well, sugar. Uh, I know the statistics are that the average American eats 150 pounds of sugar a year, and that's in just, if you start to read the labels, like a
Mhm.
Coca-Cola will have upwards of like 40 grams of sugar in a bottle, and that's more than any time in previous history that we've been able to get that much sugar in our bodies. Because in nature, sugar is not prevalent. It's kind of hard to find, uh,
Mhm.
and but we sure, especially with sugar cane, and it's all refined down so that it's it doesn't need to be digested really to get into the bloodstream. I mean,
Mhm.
you drink like that Coca-Cola, you drink that and it gets absorbed right in your stomach lining.
Mhm.
And that's why you get energy from the sugar and from the caffeine. And
Mhm.
feels good, but then how does your body respond after decades of just pounding with the sugar? Because your body has a mechanism to balance the blood sugar level through the pancreas creating insulin, and it's not made for going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like
Mhm.
it's uh, a regulatory system to keep the blood sugar, at an optimal level. And diabetes is huge because people burn out their pancreas basically. Then they
Mhm.
have to go on artificial insulin or other drugs that help the body produce insulin. But it's not an ideal system. And
Yeah.
uh,
Can I
you
wanna jump in just for a second because, 40 years ago, I took a trip to Europe, and I was in Italy, and we were looking, and it was Austria, Germany, and one of the things that stood out way back then was I would look at these pastries walking in the different cities and stuff. Man, they were amazing looking pastries, like pies and cakes
right,
and things. However, here's what I remember from it. I would eat it and it would be like, oh, it didn't have the sugar that we were used to. This was 40 years ago. And
right,
s it was kind of like the basic difference between Europe and the US at 40 years ago was we were on sugar was a big deal. I mean, it was just you could taste it, and that was 40 years ago, and now you're hearing a lot of sugar because there's a glucose revolution. I don't remember the lady's name, but she talks about vegetables first because when you get that spike, like you just talked about, the body's not, you don't want the body going like this. You want it
that's right,
consistent. So your blood sugar, if you're getting all these spikes, it has an effect on your body. So you got to listen to your body. If you have that sugar high and then you drop, it's like maybe that's not what you want. So you have to be aware of
yeah,
those, listening to your body. How do you like for our viewers out there, and you said it earlier, everybody's body is different. So what I put in mind may be completely different, the effects of it. How do you like with that in mind, how do you listen to how your body is responds to different things? Because I think you're a lot more aware of what you put in your body and how you supplement your body than 99% of the people out there.
right. Well, I mean, despite my awareness, I still have become a diabetic because of my, love of sugar. And
Mhm.
in my family, there's a history of alcoholism, which I've escaped, but The nearest thing to that is sugar. And I'm at the place now where I just can't, because I won't have any energy or be able to accomplish things. So that's a hard lesson.
Mhm.
And there are thoughts that diabetes is reversible by
Mhm.
dietary modification primarily, but uh, there's drugs you can take that help your body with the blood sugar levels also.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so do what I say, not what do what I do is unfortunate in my case, but I've read and studied a lot about it, and sugar is largely addictive.
And
Uh,
it's around us, like you just said with Coke. I remember, I don't know what the teaspoons work out to be, but when we put on the label like 40 grams of sugar, the average person, I don't know what that means,
right?
but each person broke it down and maybe it said 8 teaspoons of sugar, 16. I don't remember the number, but there is a number. And I was going like, wow. And I stopped drinking
Yeah,
soft drinks years ago,
right.
and after my stroke, I was very aware of how my brain was responding because I had to rebuild those neuro paths. So I gave up alcohol just because one, I knew there's a lot of sugar
Yeah,
and there's things that it affects the brain. And I was amazed at the difference when I did that because I wasn't like a heavy drinker, but I was a social drinker and I liked, playing golf and drinking a few beers with the guys. And, so, but when I stopped because I wanted to repair my brain, I saw a better clarity. I saw a better energy. I felt better just processing things. And I never thought about alcohol going to the brain and the sugar that's in alcohol, which there are things that we're not aware of that are in products. I know we've talked about this, but share with our viewers. I want to say Yuka, Yuka, gives a great snapshot real quick of it gives a score between 0 and 100. So without getting down to reading labels, because if you read labels, you would never buy anything because you're going like you're
oh
over
yeah,
because you don't know. But this
yeah,
gives a quick score that helps people decide what is good for my body and what should I be aware of. Have you have you seen things because we're all drawn to sugar because sugars taste good. We're all,
yeah. Sugar and
so
fat.
yeah, exactly. And so it's not like I know willpower is a false thing because I am now eating more. I gave up sugar completely, didn't even have it in my place. Now I'm around it more because of the holidays. And I find myself, just eating more than I did before because it's sitting there staring at me. And I don't have
Yeah,
the willpower to say, nah, let me just do one. And then one leads to two. And then before you know it, you've had more than you should.
oh
What
yeah.
would you say in your everyday, like, I love that you got feedback from people. What are people asking you? Because you're in health food stores, you're in the industry. What are questions that are coming up that people are curious about?
Well, there the natural foods market has responded to people's concerns, and there are now, uh, and you'll be seeing a lot more of it in this upcoming new year. Uh, Either no sugar added or zero sugar products. So there are a couple of sodas, Olipop and Poppy, which have like 5 grams of sugar only, um, which is a great improvement. And they taste just like regular soda. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's showing up, for instance, in yogurts with zero sugar. Um, and there's a lot of really good sweeteners that aren't going to affect your blood sugar level. Things like erythritol, stevia, monk
Mm-hmm.
fruit. Monk fruit and stevia are on the more natural side of things. In other words, they occur in nature, and that's really better in the long run. Not everybody likes the taste of stevia, but the average person's taste buds is kind of corrupted by sugar to expect that what I'm eating is going to be sweet. And when it's not, like your
Yeah.
experience in Europe, it's like, wait,
Yes.
this is not the way I remember it, but it's probably, much healthier. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, our body can burn out on things when we don't regulate it well enough.
Yeah, it's it's exciting now that we have access to information faster, quicker, and because time is critical to everybody's schedule, we only have 24 hours each day. And if we spend so much time trying to figure all this stuff out, it goes against what the pace of things are. So, like when you are working with your health food stores, what are the kind of questions that they're coming up with that you have to consult with them, help them, support them, that you're seeing out there in the marketplace?
Well, in the natural foods industry, uh, new products are largely driven by certifications, like
Hmm.
organic certification, non-GMO, fair trade, or equal trade, which are
Hmm.
slightly different. But people want, like, those certifications are kind of a guarantee that it's going to be healthy and that you're not going to find a lot of preservatives and chemicals in most things. Um, so it's reassuring to the public to have those certifications. I mean, there's also vegan certification, dairy free, uh, grain free, wheat free, gluten free. Those are all sought after qualities in new health food products. And my job is to take those products and show the stores, and that's a great source of revenue because people want familiar products that are better, better
Hmm.
for you, healthier, and that's a really promising thing. In the natural foods industry, you'll see products come up, and when they're really successful, they make it into the mainstream conventional grocery store.
Hmm. Yeah, you see the rise of Whole Foods over the years. And do you feel that and I don't know if this is the case, but I'm guessing because I'm on the opposite side of yourself. I'm a curious consumer that just kind of observes things. I'm not in the industry. I don't get the education. I don't get the exposure on a daily basis. Do you feel like your health food stores are more like a community connect? I mean, more like serve the community for people that are interested, and it's kind of like having a local coffee shop versus the corporate one of like Starbucks. Is like people feel more connected to each other. Do you see that in your health food stores that are independent, that they're more community than most?
Yeah, somewhat. I know of a couple stores that have educational programs, uh, speakers. I used to, when I was working in a store, we would arrange lecture series in the fall and the spring
Mm-hmm.
uh, from local practitioners, chiropractors, naturopathic doctors, um,
Mm-hmm.
to help educate people, and that was a really great service. Um, yeah, most of the stores I know are invested in helping their customer base figure things out and address
Mm-hmm.
problems that are out there.
What do you think? I know it comes up in my conversations with people that I know. Yes, I like healthy things, but I got to pay more for the homeopathics, for the
Organic.
natural products. What would you say to the people out there? Because we are what we eat, and we only get one body. We can't trade it in and get another one. So, what would you say to the people that you're going to pay more?
Well,
However, you got one body, so you better be
right,
aware that that does affect how our body responds, operates and gets into situations where if we abuse it by giving ourselves too much sugar, too much this, too much that, because the price is low, we eventually pay for
right.
it in ailments and things that our
Well,
body doesn't respond to.
the saying is true. It's like you pay now or you pay later,
Hmm.
which is difficult because how do you prove that you didn't get something? Like, how do you
Yeah.
prove that you didn't get cancer? By eating organic. But, it's, look around. I mean, I um, have people comment to me all the time that, they don't believe that, I'm not as, uh I'm younger than I look, or no, wait, I look younger than I am,
Yeah.
and
And your
I
age.
put that
You're younger than your
at,
age.
yeah, so, I look at 68, I look at all the supplements and the organic food I've eaten as kind of like, well, that's why I don't look like an old man. Um,
Yeah.
I had a brother who passed away 10 years ago, largely because his lifestyle included, alcohol and cigarettes. And so his skin looked a lot older than mine. Um, and that was, you know, kind of proved it to me in an unfortunate way because
Mhm.
he's not with us anymore. But yeah, um, it's incremental differences that make the marathon of getting through life longer. So I know I have mental image of me, you know, that I'm gonna be around till I'm 100 because that's not unusual these
Mhm.
days, especially with, modern, science being able to, help us in bigger and better way before. I mean, I had both of my knees replaced years ago, so I'm, like, walking just fine, whereas before I was having to use a cane, and,
Mhm.
I don't have to be on pain medications anymore now, which is really wonderful, and,
Mhm.
yeah, so there, are many things that make our lives better, and I think your choices and what you put into your body are number 1.
Yes.
And the number one thing in that is drinking water, you know, clean water, alkaline water certainly is better than tap water,
Mhm.
but keeping hydrated, is, one of the ways, that the body has several detox channels, as you all know. You know, you urinate out waste matter, and same
Mhm.
thing with defecation. But also sweating is really important, because that's another way that's another detox channel. Um,
Mhm.
and you know, uh, Antiperspirants are not a good idea, because they block that detox channel, mostly with aluminum, like deodorants. If you have,
Yep.
if you're using antiperspirants because your the sweat of your body really smells bad,
Mhm.
that's not a channel you need to cut off. It's
Mhm.
more likely indicating that you have too many toxins build up. And so,
Mhm.
spring cleansing, we're coming up on another season of when that'll be an appropriate thing, because uh, your liver, is under assault from the environment and the modern food system. So, work with it, and, clean up your diet, eat a lot of greens. Uh, there are some really good detox formulas that you could find in the stores. And that'll help you out long run quite a bit. I mean, I try to do that a couple times a year, of like, just calm down, uh, eat less processed food, eat more
Mhm.
vegetables and protein and water. Um,
That is,
and
it's
and
great
that's
advice. And I want you to because you have a course coming out next year, and you're wanting to help people on their journey of feeling better and living more holistically, which helps just our bodies, just helps us with a lot of things, energy, longevity, all these things. So, and I think of one person when you just said that about the antiperspirant. I don't use the aluminum. I forget that last word, but I'm allergic to it. And so I have to find things that don't have that in it. And you're right, it doesn't work as good as the other one, but that's not the whole thing. You want to get those toxins out. And if you
Yeah,
hold them in, your body is like capturing those toxins in there. So tell our
right.
viewers, how can they, one, be a guest on your podcast, two, get a hold of more information to help them on their holistic journey?
Well, you can, like, go right down here. You connect with me at that address and set up uh, an interview. We can talk about what concerns you and what you want to know, and I will draw on my experience.
Oh, that I love it. I love it. I'm going to have Susan. I call her. She does soap and anti-perst. She's in the mountains of Georgia, and she's up there. She's really devoted to bringing healthier things to our body, and so I will ask her if she would like to be a guest on your podcast, because I think
Well, thank you.
she talks that same. She's been living that. She goes to those like they're called, like, I don't know. They do them on the weekends, like markets, or what they're called, something where you
Farmers markets?
farmers market. Yeah, exactly. She goes there and she does all these farmers markets, sharing her soap and her and her deodorants that are natural. And that
Yeah, and
I use a natural soap. I don't use the
right.
traditional Dove or whatever the ones out there, because it does. I'm sensitive. My skin is sensitive to all
Mhm.
these chemicals, and I break out very easily when I put that in my body. So I
Right.
am aware of what I expose myself to. So as we wind down, want to be respectful of your time today. What would be the one thing you would want our viewers to take home from our time on this podcast?
Uh, take responsibility for your own health. You know, you can get a lot of great information from doctors, but they're not always trained in nutrition very well. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I mean, look at videos on YouTube, like this one. If you're watching this, keep going, educate
Yes.
yourself, because
Yep.
standing in your own power is the best way to live a vital life where you're able to influence your own life at the maximum level. And you know, we're a nation of rugged individualists, so that makes a lot of sense to a lot of people, that you want to know what's going on, and you got to educate yourself. um, there's a doctor who wrote a book called Confessions of a Medical Heretic, where he kind of exposes the whole the way that people typically, and I've heard this so many times in standing in the aisle in the health food store where I'm talking to somebody, and they go, "Oh, I need to check with my doctor." You know, well, that's fine, but don't let your doctor make all of your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Educate yourself, because, like I said earlier, they're all marketed to by pharmaceutical companies. They may have some very good practical advice, like don't eat all the sweets, go for daily walks. Those are things that I think most people know pretty well now, that those are important things. But yeah,
No, that's good. That's really good.
fun,
And I love personal responsibility. Take responsibility for yourself.
yeah,
Find sources that can help you educate it, because when you look at traditional sources, they're educated a certain way, which has a little bit of built-in bias that they're going to,
yeah,
maybe they're not doing it intentionally, but that's the way they're educated. And that's where you can take responsibility for finding sources like Jay, who have spent 40 years in an industry that now is really starting to, more people, I think, at least from my eyes, are aware of what they put in their body than maybe 10 years ago. So thank you so much, Jay, for spending time with us and helping our community with their journey to live more holistic and more energy, more clarity, more a better life. So thank you so much.